Now for our story. Bill Meade's attorney, Angus McKillop, a tall, lanky figure topped with a shock of unruly red hair, strode down Wakefield's main street, entered the swinging glass doors of the Wakefield Trust and Savings Bank, and went directly to Bill Meade's desk, which, bounded as it was by file cases on either side, provided considerable privacy. Now, Bill looks up from a sheaf of papers as Angus addresses him.
How did it work, lad?
Oh, hello, Mr. McKillop. Yeah, I'm fairly busy, but not too busy to stop for a minute.
Good. I'd like to talk to you for a bit, but how do I get at you? You're all barricaded in like a lion in his lair.
Oh, well, look, you just go around there to the left on the other side of that file. You see? There's an opening.
Yeah, good. Now we're both on the same side. I never like to be on opposite sides of the fence from a client of mine.
I should hope not. Here, sit down, Mr. McKillop.
I won't interrupt you for long, my boy. Just a few matters to straighten out.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you dropped in. I've been thinking about Monday.
I'll wager you have it on your mind. This is the 0 hour, isn't it? Just before the battle.
Yeah. I only wish, though, it didn't have to be a battle. If we could get through without having to be nasty about it.
I'm afraid that's not possible, lad. We'll do the best we can.
Mr. McKillop, there's something I have to tell you. I hope you won't be angry.
No, what is it, lad? Speak up.
Well, you know what we talked about in your office the day Aunt Mary was there? About this Paul Cromwell thing and Kit.
What about it?
Well, I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm sorry to say I can't see myself using that sort of evidence. Maybe I'm a dope, but I hate to think it's the only way to win custody of that kid of mine. It just goes against my grain. I guess I'm old-fashioned, isn't it?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you got nothing to worry about. It's one of the reasons I stopped in today. I knew you had this on your mind. I doubt you quite understood at the time. You see, the evidence concerning your wife's friendship with Mr. Cromwell in the past, before your divorce went through, hasn't a thing in the world to do with our case. It's not valid.
It isn't? Well, but I thought...
No. It was simply a clue. Store on the wind, you might say. If there'd been anything to show that this man had been here in Wakefield to see your wife since the divorce, well, that'd be another story. You see, in other words, it would constitute new evidence. Now, new evidence is the only kind we can use.
Oh, I see. I didn't understand that.
And be that as it may, it's of no matter now. I've checked up very carefully. Nothing of the sort took place.
Well, then, we won't have to say anything about it in court?
No, you can forget the whole thing.
Oh, I'm sure glad to know it. You know, I'll feel a lot better if I do get custody of the baby, knowing that I didn't have to make a lot of nasty implications about his mother. Well, now about Monday. What are you planning?
As to that, I've got some encouraging news.
You have?
You know this nurse, governess they have taking care of your son?
Oh, Miss Thorndike? Yeah, sure.
I had a long talk with that young woman just this morning. She's a fine, sensible person, especially considering that she's of the frailer sex.
You know, I don't entirely agree with you, Mr. McKillop. I'm inclined to think women are pretty swell people.
You'll learn. Although if you haven't already, after getting yourself into your present pickle...
Well, maybe I'm a demon for punishment, but I still have hopes.
As to Miss Thorndike, I believe she's going to be a great help to us as a witness.
Hey, you mean she's willing to take the stand? To testify on our side?
She's agreed to substantiate your own statement about your ex-wife saying she wished she'd never had a child.
I see. Well, that might make a big difference.
Certainly. It's a lucky thing she's so fond of the Ben. It's his welfare she's thinking of. Even though she's bound to get into trouble with Ben Calvert when he finds out she's against him.
Oh, she'll lose her job, that's for sure.
She's not worrying about that. On the other hand, the housekeeper...
Lucy?
The poor little mouse. She's afraid of her own shadow. And Ben's got her right under his thumb. She fears to so much as open her mouth. Hey, I'm afraid we're going to run into some opposition in that direction. I'll have to talk to her again.
Seems to me Lucy supports an invalid sister or something. And she must be getting on towards 60. It wouldn't be easy for her to get another job here in town if Mr. Calvert fired her.
I gathered that was one of her worries.
Yeah. Well, that being the case, if Lucy's out of the picture, it puts us in sort of a spot, doesn't it? I mean, wouldn't we need two people to testify?
That's right, lad. We would indeed. Miss Thorndyke's word wouldn't be enough, but don't worry about it. I believe that I can take care of the matter. I'm going to show up that Calvert household for what it is. The household, and with all due respect, your ex-wife.
Well, it's good to hear you're so confident. For a while there, the way you talked, I thought I must be crazy to go on with the case.
Hey, lad, it's true. I hated to see you knocking your head against what seemed to be a stone wall. But since I talked to Mary Lane, I've changed somewhat. I began to see the stone wall might be in my own mind.
How do you mean, Mr. McKillop?
I'd fallen into a trap, thinking of the whole business from strictly a legal, black and white standpoint, without considering the human element, the spirit of the law.
Yeah, that's what always gets me about legal stuff. So many times they do seem to forget the spirit of it.
Well, thanks to Mary Lane, I've got my view of things straightened out again. We know your wife doesn't want that child. She said so to you and to others. I'm determined we can demonstrate that to the judge's satisfaction. Oh, now I must be going along. I'll stop by for you Monday morning at 9 sharp. We'll get to Huntsville in ample time. The court opens at 10.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be driving over with you. We can talk over any last-minute details then, huh?
Yes. Good enough, lad. Now, get plenty of sleep so you'll have your wits about you. Now, good day.
So long, Mr. McKillop.
Well, good afternoon, Mary Lane. This is quite a gathering of the clan.
Well, hello, Angus.
Oh, Aunt Mary.
Are you leaving?
I have an appointment. Be sure and say hello to the lad there.
That's where I'm going now, Angus.
Good. He'll be glad to see you, I know.
Hello, Bill.
Hello, Aunt Mary. Oh, gosh, this is quite a day for me. First Mr. McKillop, and now you.
Well, I came in to do some errands, and I didn't want to leave without talking to you for a minute or two.
Well, I'm awful glad you stopped by, Aunt Mary.
Well, Bill, you're looking fine. Better than you have for a long time.
I feel better, too. The talk I just had with Mr. McKillop was a real pickup. He's very confident now. In fact, Aunt Mary, he says it's because of you that his whole opinion about the case has changed.
He does?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. But all I did was try to make him think with his heart as well as his head. You know, it's my belief that people can think with their hearts.
Well, at least it doesn't hurt to let your feelings enter into your decisions about things, as well as your common sense.
That's right.
Oh, gosh, Aunt Mary, it's wonderful to know we're really going to get rolling on Monday. I've had my doubts part of the time, and sometimes I felt downright hopeless. But today, after talking to Mr. McKillop and you, well, I have a feeling we might win.
I'm glad you're feeling so hopeful, Bill.
Yeah. Of course, I've known all along that I wouldn't ever feel right if I didn't do what I could to get custody of the baby. I mean, if I hadn't made any effort to, it would have been like tossing off my obligation as his father.
And being you, Bill, you'll never have let that happen. Just give up all thought of trying to do anything for your son. I realized from the first you'd have to face that problem. I'm very proud of the way you did face it.
Well, I'm not so sure I could have if you hadn't helped me to see it straight.
No, Bill. All I did was try to understand.
I'm very grateful to you. And you're right, too. I would have been miserable any other way, even though there have been plenty of times when I was pretty sure I was fighting a losing battle. But today I feel different. I'm actually anxious to get into that courtroom next Monday morning. I don't know, Aunt Mary. Maybe I'm nuts, but I honestly believe that when I walk out of that courtroom, I'll have that son of mine with me.
Yes, Bill, Angus McKillop's confidence and Aunt Mary's conviction that you're doing the right thing have given you a new optimism. Yet I wonder if you will have the baby with you when you leave the courtroom. For though you don't know it, Bill, the baby is not your son. And there is still a possibility that his true mother, Lisa Fenner, may do what Dell Shipley has insisted she must do. May claim as her own the child your ex-wife Kip took from her. Now for our story. It was a pleasant sunny morning. Nicholas Dorn sat on a bench in the square across from the courthouse in Wakefield, watching eagerly as if he were expecting someone. At last his face lit as he saw Peggy Douglas, his fiancée, coming toward him along the walk which led past the deserted bandstand.
Hello, Nick.
Oh, darling, you're here.
Mm-hmm. And on time, too. Or at least almost. Have you been waiting long?
Well, it seemed long. When I'm waiting for you, 15 minutes can seem like years sometimes. And on the other hand, when I'm with you, the hours turn into seconds.
Oh, goodness. That sounds rather complicated. I'm afraid I must get the time very confused for you.
No, not at all. You see, I don't worry about daylight saving, Eastern Standard, and all that. I simply run my life according to Peggy Douglas time. Works out beautifully.
Oh, Nicholas.
Which reminds me, darling, you realize it won't be Peggy Douglas much longer. Just a couple of weeks, you'll be Peggy Dorn. Peggy Dorn. Sounds pretty good to me. How does it strike you?
Well, it'll probably take me a while to get used to it, but it's a very nice name.
You'll see after you've had it for 15 years or so, you'll become very much attached to it.
After... Oh, Nick.
What's the matter? Does it scare you?
Not exactly, but it does sound like an awfully long time.
15 years is nothing. Think of all the people who celebrate their golden wedding anniversaries. Someday we'll be doing that, darling. We'll have a big party. Maybe a wedding cake.
A wedding cake for an anniversary?
Certainly. We might even get married all over again, just to remind us of the first time. And speaking of the first time, my love, how are the arrangements getting along?
Oh, everything's going very well, Nicholas. Oh, yes, I have something to show you. I've got them right here.
Oh, the invitations.
Mm-hmm. I hope you'll like the type I chose. They had a lot of fancy English kinds with curly cues, but this one was so nice and simple.
Let me see. Mrs. Randolph Lane requests your presence at the wedding of her niece Margaret to Mr. Nicholas Dorn. Well, there it is in black and white.
Yes.
Only 2 more weeks.
I hope that's time enough.
Time enough for what?
Well, I think it'll be nice if the trial is over. I'm sure it will be by then.
The trial?
It started this morning. Bill's custody suit.
Bill's Oh, I'd forgotten all about it. I'm getting to be terribly self-centered, I'm afraid. So today's the day, huh?
Mm-hmm. Aunt Mary and Lefty started out for Huntsville right after breakfast. They didn't expect to be home till late this afternoon.
I suppose those things do drag out quite a bit. Lots of red tape. Oh, poor old Bill. He'll be glad to get it all settled, I expect.
It has been hard for him.
Peggy, why didn't you go over with Aunt Mary and Lefty? I would have understood.
No, Nicholas. It's nice of you, but I thought it was better not to.
You're sure now? Because it isn't too late. I could drive you over right now. It might make Bill feel a lot better to have you there.
No. It's better this way. Anyway, let's not talk about it. That sun feels so good.
Yeah, doesn't it? But maybe you'd like to pop in somewhere and have a cup of coffee.
No, let's just sit here.
You know, Peggy, I had a dream about you last night.
Did you? I hope it was a happy one.
A part of it was. It was our wedding. You were wearing a long white gown with a veil, the way you promised Lefty and me you would.
It's at the dressmaker's now.
Oh, wonderful. Well, anyway, there you were in the long gown with a big bouquet of flowers. They were playing the wedding march, and then... Oh, this is the bad part.
What happened, Nick?
Well, you were at the end of this long aisle. Only it wasn't in church. There was a wide path cut through a mass of bright blue flowers.
Lefty's delphiniums.
I guess so. Well, you started walking toward me, and I waited for you to get closer. But that was the awful part of the dream. You kept on walking toward me, but you didn't get closer. The more you walked, the further away you seemed. Finally, I could hardly see you. And then you disappeared.
That was an odd dream.
Very upsetting. I think I'll stick to reality. You were here beside me in the sunlight planning a real wedding. Thank goodness when the real wedding comes off, you'll be on Lefty's arm. He won't let you do any disappearing act.
You say that as if you think I want to disappear.
I don't know, darling. Sometimes you do drift away.
Well, I can assure you that I won't disappear into the mist somewhere.
No, I hope not. But today, for instance, I have the feeling that your mind is over there in Huntsville, rather than here with me.
I admit, Nick, I have been thinking about it. I hope you understand.
Why, darling, of course I do. There's no reason at all why you should feel guilty about it.
Well, I don't feel guilty, but this ought to be a happy time for you and me, making our wedding plans and everything. Thinking of trials and courtrooms doesn't fit in.
Yeah, never you mind about that. We'll have plenty of time to think of ourselves. We can spare a few moments to worry about Bill.
You see, Nick, the baby is all Bill has now. The only reason he has for going on. He's given up so much on account of his son.
I know. You're thinking that if it weren't for the baby, things might have been different for you and Bill. And for you and me.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of it personally, really, Nick. It's just that it does seem so unfair for Kit to have the baby. If she doesn't really care about it. And it would mean so much to Bill.
Peggy, do you honestly hope Bill will be awarded custody of his child?
Yes, I do, Nicholas. I hope so with all my heart.
It's kind of hard to believe. But I do think you mean it.
I do. Really.
But it's awfully difficult for people to be entirely objective, impersonal. And after all, if it hadn't been for Bill's having a child, you and he might have been able to make a go of it. I'm proud of you, Peggy, for being able to be generous.
But, Nicholas, what sort of a person would I be otherwise?
A very human person. Most people are looking out for themselves in this world. But I know you're not one of them. That's one of the reasons I love you so much.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Before I came here to Wakefield, I was well on the road to becoming a deep-dyed cynic. I'd lived so long among people who had that old dog-eat-dog philosophy. Now, when I run into people like you and Aunt Mary, who honestly put other people's welfare before their own, well, it's kind of hard for me to take it in.
Well, Nicholas, don't think I'm some kind of a saint. I have an awful struggle with myself sometimes to do what's right. But in this case, I can honestly say I am terribly concerned about the outcome of Bill's trial. I do so want him to win, to get custody of his child.
Then so do I. I wonder what's going on in that courtroom right now.
It's about time. They must be just getting underway.
The members of the court will please rise.
People stood tensely, facing the flag. The various people whose lives were to be vitally affected by the outcome of the trial felt the solemnity of the moment. On one side, Ben Calvert stood, flanked by his daughter Kit, the defendant, and his wife Jessie. On the other side, toward the rear, was Aunt Mary Lane, with Lefty Larkin beside her. Bill Meade stood in front, the tall, square figure of Angus McKillop, his attorney, looming nearby. While Ben Calvert's well-dressed attorney from Chicago, Mr. Farnsworth, had arisen from a small table to the right.
In the presence of the flag of the United States, the Superior Court of the State in the County of Wakefield is now in session.
And so Bill Meade's suit for custody of the baby boy he believed to be his son began. The case of Meade versus Calvert. Now for our story. In the courtrooms of Judge Hiram Willoughby at Huntsville, the county seat of Wakefield, a custody suit was about to take place. A trial which would determine whether or not Bill Meade was to gain possession of the baby boy he believed to be his son.
In the presence of the flag of the United States, the Superior Court of the State in and for the County of Wakefield is now in session. The Honorable Judge Hiram Willoughby presiding. Be seated, please.
Well, Aunt Mary, won't be long now. As soon as the judge is ready, they'll get started. That attorney Ben Calvert hired from himself a smooth-looking customer.
Which one is he, Lefty?
Up there at the table in front.
With the large briefcase and all the papers?
Yeah, that's Farnsworth. Either he's putting on a good act or he's got an awful lot of material.
Just the same. I'm putting my hopes in Angus.
Oh, Angus McGillop's nobody's fool. But this Farnsworth looks like he might pull a few rabbits out of his hat if he got a chance.
Sometimes a man puts on the look of being sure of himself just to hide the fact that he isn't.
Yeah. Well, we'll hope that's it. Now look at Ben Calvert, will you? Speaking of being pleased with yourself.
Oh, that's pretty much Ben's natural look, Lefty.
Yeah. You know, that Jessie's really a fine-looking woman, isn't she?
Jessie's always been a fine-looking woman. She was quite beautiful as a girl.
There's something cold about her, though. And she's beginning to get those little discontented lines a woman gets when she thinks she's abused somehow.
I don't imagine Jessie's had a very easy time of it since she married Ben.
Maybe not. But that's what she wanted. She never would have rested easy until she could prove to the town that she had been able to land him. You know that, Aunt Mary. But why on earth she'd want to?
Jessie was very much in love with Ben at one time.
It's hard to believe.
Oh, it's too bad about Kit. The girl looks so white, nervous, doesn't she, Lefty?
Yeah, she does. Seems to me she's lost a lot of weight these last months. I guess she's taking it pretty hard. But why? You can't tell me it's because she's worried about this kid of hers and Bill's.
Whatever it is, she looks downright ill. I can't help feeling sorry for her.
Look at the way she's dressed. She's got herself all done up like a young widow or something. To look at her, you'd think butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. I'm glad Peggy decided not to come.
Yes, it's much better this way.
I know this would have been too much of a strain on her.
I thought so, Lefty. That's why I didn't urge her to come.
Well, I hope Bill wins. Kind of funny, me pulling for that guy. But Peggy would be a lot better off if he does get custody of the child. She's going to marry Nicholas in a few months now. And the sooner Bill's life gets settled down, the better it'll be for all concerned. I'll feel a lot better when... Uh-oh. Looks as if they're ready to begin.
The case of Meade versus Calvert.
Ready, Your Honor.
Ready, Your Honor.
Angus is getting up. Looks like he's going to lead off.
Mr. McKillop.
Your Honor, I wish to call Mr. David Bowman to the stand.
Pardon me, please.
Good morning, David.
Morning.
Be seated over there, please.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Now then, your name, please.
David Bowman.
Your occupation, Mr. Bowman.
I'm a banker, the Wakefield Trust and Savings.
Very good. Do you own the bank?
Yes, I do.
And how long have you owned the Wakefield Trust and Savings Bank, Mr. Bowman?
20 years.
20 years. And during all that time, you have been a resident in the town of Wakefield, in the county of Wakefield. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Now, Mr. Bowman, are you acquainted with a man by the name of Bill Meade?
Yes, I am. He works for me.
At the bank?
That's right.
How long have you known Mr. Meade?
Let me see. I met him first when he was stationed at Camp Downing. That would be about 3 years ago.
3 years. At that time, Mr. Meade was a sergeant in the United States Army, was he not?
He was?
Now, Mr. Bowman, I wonder if you'd tell the court your opinion of Mr. Meade's character. Any knowledge of him you required during your 3 years of acquaintance.
I'd be glad to. During the period of my association with Bill Meade, I've never known him to do a dishonorable or dishonest act. He's been hardworking, sober, and entirely reliable. I'm glad to say that I can recommend his character without reservation.
Your Honor, I object. Mr. Farnsworth, I feel that Mr. McKillop is attempting to give a character testimonial which is entirely irrelevant to the question at hand. The question of whether or not my client, Miss Kit Calvert, the former Mrs. Meade, is a fit mother...
Your Honor, certainly the testimony of a well-known citizen such as Mr. Bowman regarding the background and character of my client can hardly be considered as not pertaining to the case. On the contrary, it's of utmost importance.
You may proceed with your witness, Mr. McKillop.
Now, Mr. Bowman, is Miss Calvert, the defendant, a relative of yours?
Yes, she is.
What relation is Miss Calvert to you?
She's my niece.
Your sister was her mother, in other words. Is that true?
Yes. My late sister married Kit's father, Ben Calvert.
Then, if Miss Calvert is your niece, I presume you've known her a long time.
Since she was born.
Now, Mr. Bowman, in your own words, I'd like you to tell the court your opinion regarding the fitness of your niece, Miss Calvert, as a mother to her child.
I can put the matter very briefly in this way. It is my considered opinion that my niece is not a fit mother to bring up her child. This opinion is borne out by the fact that my niece has actually admitted to me that she wished she had never had the child.
Your witness, Mr. Farnsworth.
I have a few questions I'd like to put to the witness, Your Honor.
The court recognizes the attorney for the defense, Mr. George Farnsworth. You may proceed, Mr. Farnsworth.
Mr. Bowman, you say your niece told you she wished she'd never become the mother of a child. Is that true?
Yes.
Was this shortly after your niece returned from California?
Yes, it was.
It was shortly after Miss Calvert returned from California, where she had given birth to a baby son after months of lonely separation from her husband. Now, Mr. Bowman, is it or is it not true, to your knowledge, that shortly after Miss Calvert returned from California with a newborn son, her husband informed her that he refused to stay under the same roof with her?
Yes, but you see...
Pardon me, Mr. Bowman. And now to proceed. How long has it been since you talked with the defendant?
About 3 weeks.
And on that occasion, what was the gist of your conversation?
Kit came to see me. She wanted me to persuade her husband not to sue for custody of the child.
She wanted you to persuade her husband not to sue for custody?
That's right.
Does that sound to you like a woman who wished she'd never had a child? Does it, Mr. Bowman?
Not on the face of it, but...
Just answer the question, if you please. Mr. Bowman, in your opinion, was your niece, Miss Calvert, sincere when she pleaded with you to persuade her husband not to attempt taking her baby son from her?
Yes, I believe she was very sincere.
You say she was sincere, Mr. Bowman. Then if you believe that, your earlier statement is clearly a contradiction. You stated a few minutes ago that your niece had said in your presence she wished she'd never had the child. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
But this statement was made to you shortly after your niece returned home with a newborn son to learn that her husband insisted on a divorce. Was it not?
Yes.
And yet, after that divorce was granted, when the young woman had acquired a new equilibrium, after the trying experience of bearing a child in a shattered marriage, after she'd been able to recover somewhat, her genuine mother love asserted itself and she pleaded with you to persuade her husband to allow her to keep her baby son. And you believe that plea was sincere, do you not?
Yes, I believe it was.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. That will be all.
As Kit's attorney looked triumphantly around the courtroom, Bill Meade had turned anxiously toward his own lawyer, Angus McKillop, whose careful structure of evidence had been so cleverly destroyed by the smooth man from the city. But Angus looked far from beaten. His gray eyes were angry, and there was an air of determination about him which restored Bill's confidence.